Hello guys, welcome to this session on number data types in Python. In this session, you are going to learn about what is number data type and what are the different types of numbers supported by Python. So, what is a number data type? If a variable is assigned with some numbers or a numerical value, then we call that variable is a number data type variable. Number data type is mainly used to handle numbers in arithmetic operations. Python supports three different types of numbers. They are: first one is integer. Integer numbers are the whole numbers that do not have decimal point or a fractional part. Like for example, 100, 10, 50, 25. A whole number. We call those numbers as integer numbers. The other number type is float number. Float point numbers are also called as real numbers in Python, which contain a decimal point or fractional part. Means there will be numbers before and after decimal point. Like for example, 3.14, 10.20, 0.22, 1.234, like that. We have numbers in both sides of decimal point. So the other type of number is complex number. Complex numbers are the third type of numbers supported by Python and an extension of real numbers. Complex numbers having the real part and an imaginary part in the form of a plus bj. In Python, the imaginary part will be represented with the letter j as suffix. In engineering notation, complex numbers will be represented as a plus bi, where I is a imaginary part represented as suffix. But Python, we have replaced the letter I with j, and the imaginary part will be represented with the letter j as suffix in complex numbers. Let's say for example 5 plus 2j is a complex number where 5 and 2 are real numbers and j represent the imaginary part of that particular complex number. Okay, and then different types of operations. The first one is conversion of one number data type to another number data type. The other thing is we can perform all kind of arithmetic operations on number data types. Now let us open ideal environment and try to understand each and every number type with some examples. Okay, we have our ideal environment open and ready. Now let us create three variables called integer number, float number and complex number, and we'll assign some values to each and every variable. Okay, int number equal to 100, float number equal to 3.14, complex number equal to 3 plus 14j. So there are the three different number type variables. First one is integer type, second one is float type, and the third one is complex type. If you wanted to check the data type of a variable, how we can do that? Using type function in Python. Here basically we haven't defined a variable type, right? So Python is a dynamically typed programming language, which means you no need to explicitly define the type of a variable while creating it. The data type of a variable will be decided during runtime by Python interpreter. In ideal, we can check the type of a variable using type function. Simply give type and pass the variable and then hit enter. It will return the type of a variable or the class type, which is of integer here. So if we give type float num, it will return class type as float. If we give complex num, it will return the class type as complex. Sometime during development, we may need to convert a variable into other data types, depends on the requirement. Like conversion of float number to an integer type or vice versa, or integer type to a complex number or float to a complex number. Like that, we may need to convert one number type to another number type. In Python, we have a specific function for each data type to convert from one data type to another number data type. Like for example, we have an int function which is used to convert other number types to an integer, and also we have float function which is used to convert other number types to float, and we have complex function used to convert integer and float number to complex type. We call this kind of conversion of one number data type to another number data type is actually a typecasting. So let us understand more by an example program. Okay, let's say we are going to write a program to accept age as an input from the user, and that need to be assigned to a variable. Okay, in our previous session, by learning about IDLE and by writing our first program, we have used input function to accept user inputs. So what input function will do? By default, input function will return the value as string value. So we converted that particular value into an integer and then we stored in an integer variable, right? Similarly, we need to accept a user input here, and then let's check the data type of a variable, and then finally we convert that particular string type variable to an integer, and then we'll print the value. So let's create a variable called age, and then we'll seek an input from the user. Please enter your age. If you hit enter, it will ask for the age to enter. So let's say 30. If I enter, now the value of age is 30. So we check the data type of a variable age, it will return the class type as string. As I mentioned, input function is always return string as a output. So we need to convert age into an integer type. How you can do that? We have an integer function we mentioned over here to convert other types to an integer. So int, and then simply provide age. So it will convert age into an integer number. Now let's try check the data type. See, we have class type as integer. Now let's try to convert integer variable value to float and complex numbers. I'm going to create another variable integer to float. The variable I created in such a way to understand that we are converting an integer number to a float number. That means, so I have an integer number on top. So I created integer number and then hit enter. Now if you see int number as 100 as an integer, if you see after conversion integer to float, it will be of 100.0. It comes with a fractional part. If you check the type of a variable into float, the type is written as class float. Similarly, you can convert integer to complex as well. How you can do that? Simply use complex function and then provide the value int num. So if you hit enter, it will come with a complex type. So now type int to complex is of complex class type, and if you print the value into complex, it will return 100 plus 0j. The imaginary part will get added to the integer number and it will display the output. So this is how you can convert one number type to another number type variable. So far we have learned how to create different number type variables, checking the type of a variable using type function, and conversion of variables from one number type to another number type, right? Now let's perform some operation on numbers. So as I mentioned in earlier, we can perform all kind of arithmetical operations on number type variables. So let's say for example, first we can try to do arithmetic operation using integers. As we can perform all kind of arithmetic operations on integers, addition, subtraction and multiplication, these operators will return you as a integer output. If suppose if you are dividing the same integers, they may return you the float as a output. So let's understand by an example. So let's create two numbers. Int number 1 equal to 10 and integer number 2 equal to 3. Okay, now let's perform each and every arithmetic operation and see what will be the output type of that particular operation, right? Okay, let's say first add these two numbers, int num 1 plus int num 2. If you hit enter, it will give you the result as 13. If suppose if you want to check the type of that particular output, how you can do, type int num1 plus int num2 will return you the class type as integer. Similarly, if you give in other operations like integer number minus integer num2, it will give you the result as 7, which is of integer type. Similarly, int number 1 multiplied by int number 2 will return you of integer value. But if you try a division operation now, let's see what will be the output. Int num1 division int number 2. The result is of 3.333. Now if you check the type of this value using int num1 slash int num2, the result would be of class type float, just because integers are not always fully divisible. There might be some remainder. So result will be a floating point number. If you want to have only the integer value even after the division, then we have another operator called integer division operator, that is nothing but two forward slashes. Let's see with an example. Int num1 double slash int num2. If you hit enter, it will return you only the 3 as output, which is of integer type. Now if you see int num1 double slash int num2, the result of class type is integer. So this is how you can get only the integer portion of the output, and interpreter will discard the fractional part if you use integer division operator. Now let's add integer and float numbers, and the result is always floating point number. Okay, now let's say int num plus float num. If you hit, the result is 103.14, where integer number is value 100 plus floating point number value is 3.14. Both decimal value will be added and the fractional part will be added, and result will be 103.14. Similarly, you can add complex number as well. So float num plus complex num. Hit enter, you'll be getting the result as 6.14 plus 14j. So this is how you can get the values if you are adding two different number type variables. And also you can get only the imaginary part, only the real part in a complex number. How you can get that? Let's say we have a complex number, right? If you print the value 3 plus 14j is a value inside a complex number. If you want to get only the real part of a complex number, we have a function called complex number variable dot. If you give real, and then it will print you the real part of the number as 3. If suppose you wanted to get only the imaginary part, complex number dot image, if you hit it, it will give you 14 as a output. So as I mentioned already, complex numbers are the extension of real numbers. The output is always a floating point number. And also you can perform addition, subtraction, multiplication only on real part of the complex number, only on imaginary part of the complex number. So let's say for example we have two complex numbers like complex num 1 equal to 3 plus 14j, okay, and complex num 2 equal to 5 plus 2j. Okay, if I hit enter, these two types are complex type. Complex num1 type, complex num2. Okay, now I wanted to add only the real part of both the numbers. How we can do that? Complex num1 dot real plus complex num2 dot real. If you hit enter, the result would be 8. Here 3 plus 5 will be added and display the output as 8. If you wanted to have only the imaginary part, complex num1 dot image plus complex num2 dot image. Okay, this is how you can add only the imaginary part. If you hit enter, this will add the imaginary values. 14 plus 2 is of output 16. So this is how you can perform all kind of operations only on real part or only on imaginary part. That's it guys, we come to an end of this session on number data type in Python, and thank you for watching my video. If you have not subscribed to my video channel, please do subscribe and click on the bell notification appearing next to the subscription button so as to receive notifications as and when I upload a new video related to Python programming and to make yourself updated. And also please do like, share and comment under comment section. If you have any queries to be answered, I'll respond back to you guys. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next session.